20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Oh, I think even 5 years ago that would have been fair, but it's different.
Now he's closer to the mainstream.
Yeah.
And that's what the media doesn't want to acknowledge, because the media is afraid of Republicans.
Right.
The media is afraid of the screams of liberal media bias. The media is owned by conservative corporations, the mainstream press.
Right.
So they don't want to admit that the people they're talking to, that they're cutting out their own audience by catering to this little group of Trumpites in the corner here.
Well, you see that even with, the way the media treats Trump, and we talked about this last night a little bit, but during his faux presser, they really have been worshiping him, and we saw that at its worst with Morning Joe, but it's throughout the press. So hopefully, now that he has shown himself to be, quote, serious candidate, I hope that they start vetting him. I don't know how to even say that with a straight face, but, or, I could laugh or cry at the same time. It's a tough call. But
was it, I'm sorry, you mean
no, go ahead.
Was it just me, or was Trump attempting to be serious by speaking his talking points more softly? That was his definition of serious, instead of screaming them at.
Yeah, but then he was yelling at the press, so I don't know. I think there's just simply no way to take that man. To imagine him as a president is absolutely terrifying. But Republicans still want to blame, as they always seem to be doing, and they're wagging their finger at Democrats, and now they found a new thing to blame Obama for. Donald Trump is all Obama's fault, they say. Well, the reality is, just like the press says that Obama made this country more divided, the reality is that's not what happened at all. Obama was not divisive. Obama was fought against by people who could not go with the change, by racists, and by very fearful, the Archie crowd. So they have been fighting, and Republicans have been taking advantage of that based on their 30, 40-year Southern strategy that they've admitted to. So they were playing on all these fears of a black man in the White House, and that is what made this country so divided. It was already, I'm not saying it was great before that, but they certainly played on all those fears. And that's how they ended up with Donald Trump. They own Donald Trump. This is who they are. And they will never admit that, but that's the bottom line. And the media is not even going to hold them accountable for that. That's all they had. And we don't know how this happened. How can we stop it? You can't stop it because he is you. He is the Republican Party. I hope they do stop it for the sake of our country, but it looks like an unstoppable train unless they cheat, which I wouldn't put past them. But
the Republican Party has used divisiveness as a political strategy against Obama. Their strategy was divisiveness. It was obstruction and divisiveness.
And they're still doing it now.
And so you're right. How does the party that is still using divisiveness as their main methodology for, I would say, to carry out their political agenda, but divisiveness is the political agenda. How does a party that's fundamentally structured to that degree, how do they combat Trump? Who is them?
Right.
He is me.
That's their strategy. That's their ploy. That's their political strategy, is the divisiveness. That isn't their agenda. Their agenda is to continue funneling the money from the middle class and the poor to the very, very wealthy in this country. That's their agenda.
The reverse Robin Hood redistribution.
Yeah, that's their agenda. It always has been, and they've hidden that in religion. They've buried it in racism. They bury it in any kind of divisive thing they can. And it was interesting because last night one of the trending topics on Facebook about Super Tuesday was Christianity. I think it was number 2. So that implies that the Republicans have, successfully sold this idea that your religious liberty is at stake in this election. Of course, ridiculous. No one has stopped anyone. But let's wrap this up with, because, at every moment something new crazy is happening. We got to get down there and cover it. So, and the bottom line is, what are the odds, do you think, that Republicans are going to stop this in a way that doesn't involve cheating?
Oh, in a way that doesn't involve cheating?
Right. See, I'm limited.
You just threw me a curveball and changed my whole calculus. If they have to not cheat, there's probably less than a 10% chance they stop this. If they can cheat to get this to a brokered convention, the odds of them trying to get this to a brokered convention, I would say, are probably 70-80%. But by not cheating, if they were going to play it straight, they're probably good. There's probably a 90% chance Trump's going to win this nomination.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. All right, well, so they have...
On that happy note,
they have 2 weeks to count down. We will be watching to see what happens, and we will be talking with you all. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Stay away from Donald Trump. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.